Welcome back. It's Wednesday, and we did not get to visit with our friend Michael Babcock last week because of our power outage. The whole studio went black. We think it's the ghost. But he's back today. Michael Babcock, TMZ. How's it going, my friend?
Good morning.
Kelly and Jeremy, I think a higher power didn't want us to talk last week.
It's probably Kanye.
Blame everything on Kanye. Everybody else says. There you go.
I wouldn't put anything past him.
Not these days. Not these days, Michael.
Okay.
I want to
really?
say, when I saw this story online, I was like, as Lizzo would say, it's about time. Because if you Google rudest celebrities, James Corden is at the top of the list, but yet nobody has really come forward with accusations until this incident that just happened. Tell the viewers about it.
Yeah, and I had heard much of the same stuff over the years, Jeremy. But James Corden, earlier this week, seemingly out of the blue, at least for all of us, gets banned from one of the most popular, one of the most well-established, oldest New York City restaurants. This place, Balthazar, and they have. I mean, it's not like they're not used to getting celebrities. They get some of the biggest celebrities that are in New York City, but they said, or the owner, I should say, of the restaurant said that that James Corden, literally the worst customer that they had over whatever the decades that they've had the restaurant. And he said, look, there was 2 incidences that he had pointed out specifically. One where James said that he found a hair in his food and just threw an absolute fit. And then another time when he was upset with the way that his wife's food was prepared. And again, threw a fit and, berating the staff and really upsetting everybody. So the owner goes, you're banned. Now, unfortunately, it was only a matter of hours. And then the guy who owns the restaurant announces that James actually had called him, reached out, apologized, and he was no longer banned from the restaurant. So I don't know how his servers and the cooks and everybody else feels about it, but now he's allowed back at Balthazar. But I think it got people talking, Jeremy, Kelly, and like you said, it's sort of been a poorly kept secret that James Corden, at least according to many different people, has had these really strange and just rude interactions with fans, and now it's out in the open.
Yeah, just because nobody's talking about it or hadn't been doesn't mean that it hasn't happened, that people don't have their individual stories. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's usually the theme. If somebody is rude to in one situation, they have a history of that.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I agreed, and I think there's something telling about the way that somebody like him, that's rich and famous, the way he treats somebody trying to make a livable wage at a restaurant. So yeah, it's unfortunate. You would hope some, and his on camera, his persona is such of this nice guy, and he seems like such a fun person and lovable and all that, but.
But 2 points, doesn't that remind you of somebody else who was known for being nice? Ellen?
Yeah.
And then she got called out.
Yeah, it's disappointing. And then you start, kind of question everything you see on TV then.
Yeah.
But it's that. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison, Jeremy. That's two very, very similar in that they were just, if you just watch them on camera, you'd be like, they're the best, right?
Yes.
There's no 2 better people than them. But
so he's not a nice guy, but he plays one on TV.
There you go.
There you go.
You know what, though? I would be embarrassed. Let's say this came out, you're banned, the chef unbanned you, but would you go back?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
No,
but I
wouldn't
wouldn't be
go
banned
back.
in the first place because I wouldn't be rude.
Yeah.
But
and I should say, in fairness to James Corden here, we did a story this morning that 2 other restaurateurs, including Todd English, who was pretty well known, they basically came out and had his back and said, look, we've never had a problem with James at any of our restaurants. So, maybe just maybe he was in a bad mood at Balthazar. I don't know.
Maybe he was sick or something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Or
so
maybe
interesting.
he's just not a nice guy.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we're going to switch gears now to Ted Lasso. Well, I call him Ted Lasso. Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde.
Do you want me to just call him Ted
I just like to call him Ted.
So, Olivia Wilde and Ted Lasso are.
I love that so much.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
So they're, it's somewhat strange because they're sort of, for lack of a better term, at war with one another. They have been really battling back and forth. Olivia and Jason, you remember how she was served in front of that film festival. Well, now they are actually fighting somebody else together. So they've sort of, again, formed the united front. A former nanny of theirs has made some claims, and it particularly makes Olivia, not look like the best, most caring partner. The nanny tells stories, and Olivia and Ted have they've adamantly said that this is not true. But I mean, talking about like Olivia just going to go see Harry Styles and Ted being there and literally just laying behind her car so she couldn't get the car out of the driveway to go see her new boyfriend. And it's stories like that. And I mean, as with everything I've seen, down to a T, every allegation that they have basically said is not true. I don't know why the nanny would go to the media and make this stuff up, but that's what Olivia and Jason
Sudeikis, Ted Lasso.
Wow. Well, what do you do?
So they're going back and forth in the media right now. And
here's the thing I don't get. Tell me, I don't know this. Do nannies of celebrities have to sign an NDA?
Oh, I mean, it's. You don't have to. It's up to the celebrity, but I would be beyond shocked, like floored, if every nanny in this town hadn't signed an NDA. I think that is pretty standard when you're working with a celebrity.
But they can still leak stuff.
I know, but still, it's like if you're living with somebody, you're seeing a different side of somebody.
At the end of the day, it's just right. At the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper, right? So I guess it's sort of about the enforcement of it, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for them in these sort of things, it's what are you going to do? Make the nanny pay, money that she might not have? I mean, the harm is already done. The harm is to the reputation to Olivia Wilde and to Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Wasn't her reputation a little bit tarnished by that movie she just made? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, though.
That's fair to say, too. That's fair.
That's fair.
I didn't see it, so I'm not judging.
When you're a celebrity, you're in front of everybody, and everything that goes on gets told,
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, look, if this stuff is not true, you really feel bad for them. Then they're already, going through the split from one another, and if they have to then deal with this, and their kids might find out, it could be a bad situation.
Yeah, definitely.
But side note, Michael Babcock, has Harry Styles ever come to TMZ? Has he ever come to see you guys?
No. I think, there'd be people that'd be really excited if he did, but no. Justin Bieber did, but.
Oh, he did.
Okay.
Hey, how's his health now? Is he good? Is he well,
what'd you say, Kelly?
Is Justin good now? Is he well?
Well, he did cancel the rest of the tour, but I think he's just sort of rest and relaxation.
He needs to rest.
But he'll get back out there. It's something you're seeing a lot of artists do now. They're putting their mental and their physical health in front of some of these things. So if it's going on tour and making a lot of money or resting, sometimes they're resting these days.
I think that's good.
That's good.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
Always
Michael.
great to see you.
Kelly, Jeremy, thanks for having me.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
You can catch TMZ weekdays at 5 p.m. and TMZ Live weekdays at 2 p.m. We'll be back with a new executive director of the Branson Lakes Area Tourism Community. You gotta see it. Stay right there.